Motivation is about the job and growth and responsibility. Got a thought?
That chart should be reversed, so you can put a 0 in the middle of the column and have, hygiene's going up to 0 and the motivators going in the positive
Going in
direction.
a positive, yeah, good point.
They've shown this video in some of our training work and then some of his other videos, and I remember thinking at the time that we're talking the talk, we're showing this to supervisors and managers, but that thing about with that software company, I thought about doing that, going back to my group and saying, one day a month, do whatever you want. But I don't think I would get support. I think I would get in trouble. Well, not even from my direct manager. My direct manager is pretty supportive of stuff like that. But if it got back down there, so what do they charge their time?
There you go. What do they charge their time
Right,
to?
so how do you knock out all the Theory X crap that's blocking you?
So, go ahead.
It's easier to do the why things in a culture that hasn't been years and years and years X. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The culture, you do that in the culture we're in now.
So let me make a couple
They
of
know
comments.
that whatever they come up with really isn't gonna be implemented because safety will have to approve it, and facility safety will have to approve it, and all these other people, so it has something to do with the culture, I guess, is all I'm trying
Oh,
to
it
say.
absolutely has to do with the culture. So there's two things I want to leave you with in thinking about this. One is this concept of islands of excellence. Islands of excellence. Is it at your level or you and your boss where you decide, there's real value in this to the organization and the people. I'm looking at my people's growth, I'm looking at employee satisfaction, I'm looking at employee retention, and if we don't do something fundamentally different, we're going to start losing our really good people. So let's decide that there are some of these things we can do to start down that path and create an island of excellence. I can't do all of this on day one, and I recognize it. But what's my vision, our shared vision, and then what path are we on to get there? This is what right looks like, but how do we get there? And then the other thing is this comment about culture. It's about the culture. So we say that, and we talk about that, but does anybody know what culture is? What's culture made of? Right? It's one of those things where we kind of, okay, I know it when I see it, but what is it really? Well, what's the research say? Language, artifacts and symbols, patterns of behavior, beliefs, and sometimes people use values here, and then subcultures. And you can find several lists, but they're all going to be something along these lines. So as a manager, as a leader in an organization, if I want to change the culture, what does that really mean? Well, I've got to have a vision of how do we talk? How do you talk now? It's in acronyms. It's generally negative. We talk negative about management. We talk negative about DOE. We talk, again, hypothetically, you all don't, but some people do. So if we wanted it to be a different culture and positive, what would we do? We talk about the opportunity. We talk about the fact that we are serving the U.S. by what we do in terms of protecting the nuclear arsenal. And there's a message there that can be really positive. And we talk about growth, and we talk about opportunity, right? Okay. Artifacts and symbols. The artifacts and symbols of our culture now are not the super positive history of how we got here that you described a minute ago. The artifacts and symbols now are time clocks and performance reviews and broken down buildings, right? That's what we think of. Those are the symbols of what we're doing now. Not, if you go over to the Oak Ridge National Lab now, we ought to be able to talk about the SNS and the new buildings and the new programs that have come in and the exciting research we've done and the awards that the lab's gotten, right? So there are symbols and artifacts of a positive culture that we don't focus on. Patterns of behavior, right? Patterns of behavior. 3:30, don't be caught between the building and the gate, because you will get run over, right? That's a pattern of behavior. And yet, we're doing some of the most exciting research in the world, right? Well, why isn't that place packed in the evenings and on weekends if that's the case? Well, because we're getting our self-actualization outside of work, not from work. Okay. But my point about this is, it is a culture thing. You're in a leadership role. Well, what does right look like, and how do we move that direction? It ain't going to happen overnight, but it's not going to happen ever if we don't decide, there are things we can do better, and we can head that way. Let me say one more thing about Theory X and Theory Y, because this is a really, really important point, and I forgot to make it a minute ago. I said Theory X and Theory Y are what? What are they?
Theories.
They're theories, and they are what? A set of
Values.
Huh?
Values or beliefs.
No. Okay, beliefs is toward the right direction. Theory X and Theory Y are a set of assumptions about how people work or act, right? So Theory X says people are worthless and yada, yada, yada. Theory Y is a set of assumptions that people want to do a good job, they want to grow. So it's a set of assumptions. Here's get this point. If you have evidence that says an employee leaves early every day, sleeps at their desk during lunch, doesn't do a good quality job on the work they do, is that an assumption?
No.
No. Then you're not a Theory X manager if you call them on it, reprimand them, or fire them. Right? It's not an assumption anymore. So get that point. Theory X and Theory Y are a set of assumptions. That's not to say to you as a leader or a manager, if you have a problem team or problem employee, that you're not supposed to, if I try to take any action, then I just become a Theory X manager because I assume they're worthless. If they're worthless, it's not a theory. Right? It's not an assumption. So don't lose that point, that I'm not giving me the opportunity to give up my responsibility by telling you, oh, if you do this, you're a Theory X manager. And why is that the case? Because there are no Theory X people. There are no Theory X organizations, right? Now, I'm going to talk about it that way because it's a shorthand for us to understand. But Theory X and Theory Y is a set of assumptions. Okay. All right. The other thing I agreed to... Whoops, sorry. I turned it off. I agreed to show you a couple of videos. And these come from obviously a different class. They weren't from a project management class, but they give you an example of what these kind of reports would look like. Oh yeah, I am going to need that too to hear this. All right.
Go underneath the table.
Professional done.
I was asked about the slides, because I sometimes use a different set of slides than what's up on the site. What I've done is I've gone through and taken out a bunch of slides that you would want to use to prep for the test. If you want, I'll put those slides up, and especially for today, there are two more sets of slides. There's a section on procurement and a section on ethics that I'm going to put up there that you'll just want to take a look at. And it's going to be pretty apparent to you, and when we do the prep for the final, I'll point out a couple of concepts that I want you to get out of that. But if you will spend 15, 20 minutes going through that set of slides and seeing what's in there, at this point, it should be apparent to you, oh, these are the important concepts out of there. And if it's not, let me know and we'll have a conversation about it. But for ethics, it's absolutely going to be clear to you that there are 3 or 4 concepts, maybe a half a dozen out of there that you're going to want to look at and get, especially if you're going to take the test. Because ethics will be on the test. All right, let me see if I can. All right. Sorry.
Good morning, Brian. What seems to be bothering you today? Dr. Baker, I haven't been feeling so well. I've had trouble at work and it's all my employees' fault. They're giving me a migraine that just won't go away. Well, tell me about it. Well, Doc, I work over at Y12 in Oak Ridge. I always hear that government workers are incompetent. Well, it's true. We've got a bunch of lazy, irresponsible employees that just don't want to do any work. They constantly complain about their work hours, their pay, the company procedures. They even line up to the time clock 15 minutes before quitting, waiting to punch out, knowing that they're going to get stuck in that subway traffic. They act like they just don't care. But they know that the work we do at Y12 is important. Well, have you made it clear to your employees just what Y12 mission is? Vision is? Doc, it couldn't be more clear. We've got symbols and artifacts everywhere displaying the importance of safety and security. We've even got old black and white photos on just about every wall to remind them of our past missions and the role that we played in the war. We push our values on them every day, and they still want to talk bad about us. Just the other day, I heard one of my employees say that he must be working at Disneyland because he had Goofy for a boss. Goofy. I think I'm my man when I have to implement this KITA procedure I've been working on. KITA? What's that? Yeah, KITA. Kicking the pants. That's what my employees mean. But sounds like you're not working with a learning organization. What do you mean, learning organization? An organization where communication and dialogue are for the whole group, not just from the top down. A culture comprised of openness and lowliness, where the truth is heard and where those closest to the problem are able to act. A place where good communication and good organizational skills as a whole is easily related to. Well, that's just kind of weird to me. I've got a friend who's a very successful CEO of a large corporation. He doesn't believe in any of that. Oh yeah? And who is that? Hal Dunlap. He was a past CEO of both Scott Paper and Sunday Monster. A lot of folks like to call him Chainsaw Al. But I figure that's because he was able to cut through all the employee nonsense. He even gave me this to help out. It's a marvel of his own knowledge. And what is it called? It's called Same Old, Same Old. That's what Chainsaw Al used to get the job done. He told me it's what all the successful organizations have been using for years. Can I look at it? Yeah. It seems to be a mechanistic formula full of formulas and theory X assumptions and evident leadership traits and blame. This stuff is no good, and you've got to stop taking it. Now, so try this. What was this, Doc? It's called metanoia. It's an all-organic formula of leadership traits that can help you solve all of your problems. Here, take a look at it. Metanoia. Says knowledge workers can be difficult to understand if you don't have the right frame of mind. Claims it's a specifically created formula cultivated from years of research. It's even got a list of ingredients. Wow. Theory-wide assumptions, Peace, mastery, and autonomy. Wow, it's got all the good stuff. It's even got heart healthy encouragement. It seems that extensive studies reveal that managers using this metanoia can move from lower effective spots on the Blake Witten's managerial grid to a high effective spot, such as 9-9. Well, Doc, now you've got me curious. Good. I'll tell you what, Brian. Try this. Take 2 of these, and how about this in 6 months when we'll discuss your organizational goals again? All right, Doc. I think I will. Great. We'll see you then. Okay.
6 months later.
How's your trouble going at Waxman? Troubles? No troubles at all, Doc. Ever since you prescribed metanoia, my troubles have disappeared. I found a new mastery of my job that was never there. I've developed much more positive mental models about my employees, and I'm finding it much easier to inspire a common shared vision throughout an organization.
It sounds like to me you've had a shift of mind.
You bet, Doc. Ever since I've been showing my newfound confidence in my team, giving them the power to make their own decisions, production has went through the roof, and so has morale. Heck, even the language around the plant has changed. And that's good, because I'm not goofy anymore. I would have never thought that just believing in them and encouraging their heart would have such a profound effect.
Well, that's the power of system thinking and teamwork. And that's how the power of metanoia works.
Thanks, Doc. I'm a believer now.
Great. Good to see you. Have a good one.
All right, comments? Was the content there? That's all I'm asking. The content's there. They made their point. Does anybody know what metanoia is? It's a change of thinking, a change of attitude, a paradigm shift. So that's what he was saying there is that we have to have a fundamental change in the way we think about things. The title? Gosh, I don't know if it had a title.
So there was concentration.
The-
Yeah, concentration.
The class was motivating knowledge workers.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this was all about the stuff we've gone over in an hour and a half. That was the focus of this. So that's why for their project, it was about how do you apply those concepts to a knowledge worker organization. And in that class, one of the main books was the fifth discipline. And so you guys are reading that. So systems thinking applied to. Let me show you. I won't show you the entire video, but this other video, I'll give you at least the introduction to it.
This is a free camera, you cannot zoom in and out somebody. Hey, there's zero video editing. I know, that's what I'm trying to see, but that's all I can't do. Can't do that. Oh, Lord. This one might have some editing. They just use their phones. Honestly, they're gonna rip off your
It doesn't really matter. I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
Won't you get fired?
I don't know, but I really don't like it, and I'm not gonna go. He's my boss. He's my unholy, disgusting pig of a boss.
It's not that disgusting.
He represents all that is soulless and wrong. We're all screwed. That's why. They're gonna downsize and attack. What are you talking about, Don? How do you know that? How do I know? They're bringing in a consultant. That's how I know. That's what the staff meeting's all about.
So the point here is this is just two ways to present the information. And again, I said, these are two of the better ones that we have. So very creative. I'm not asking you to go to all this kind of effort. What I am saying is this is...
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That my rumper can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Space out? Yeah. I just stare at my desk. much too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work. Now, Peter, would you be a good sport and indulge us and just
Fantastic.
tell us more?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Let me tell you something about TBS reports. The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care. Don't care. It's a problem of motivation, alright? Now, if I work my ass off and Intech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation? And here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now. I beg your pardon? 8 bosses. 8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it. That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled, not in fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired. Would you bear with me for just a second, please? Okay. What if, and believe me, it's not really good, but what if you were offered some kind of a stock option equity sharing program? Would that do anything for you? I don't know, I guess. Listen, I'm gonna go. It's been really nice talking to both of you. Absolutely. The pleasure's all on this side of the table, trust me. Good luck with your layoffs, alright? I hope your firings go really well. Excellent.
Let's right along to a Peter Gibbons. Now, we had a chance to meet this young man, and boy, that's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
Okay, so there's 2 examples of, you know, kind of, that's the vision of what something like this could look like. Obviously, you guys are doing something in the project management space. This was in the motivating knowledge worker space. But does that help you understand what we're talking about? The other extreme is a talking head with somebody standing there and saying, we did a project report and it included, you know, a communications plan and that looks like this. And that's not the vision. Okay? Okay? All right. Everybody okay with the plan for next week?
Yes.
Woohoo! All right, good deal. Take a break and
Yeah,
I'll
we'll write out the script next week and
read
then
here.
I'll film it all. And then we'll have to get back, after I film it, we go through and edit it, and we'll have to get together and